Welcome to Love the Way You Live with Charlie Lewis, where we connect you with people who share their secrets of living a purposeful and fulfilling life in all areas from real estate and living, media, fashion, style, arts, and culture. But today we have the one and only Scott Elyanow in the house. Welcome, Scotty. Glad you could be here.
Good to be here. Great to be here.
Glad. So Scotty, you guys, is my colleague. He's also at the Corcoran Group. He handles mostly downtown in the West Village. And you've been in real estate for how long, Scotty?
For 14 years, 15 years.
Okay, okay. So how did you get to New York?
So I was I was going into work in LA, the music producer, realized that I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't be on the hamster wheel. I had a nice life. LA is sunny. I had great friends. I had, everything was going well.
Right.
It was very complacent.
Okay.
There wasn't that thing.
That grind, yeah, that grit.
Thing. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a note to my employer who wasn't awake at the time. That's fine. I wrote it, left my keys, went home, packed up whatever I could fit in my Honda Prelude, 1988 blue Honda Prelude coupe, and my cat.
Okay.
And then I hit the road. And I remember 2 hours outside of LA calling, my roommate, I'm not coming back, calling my jobs, I'm not coming back, calling my mother, who freaked out.
Okay.
She's happy now. Broke down in St. George, Utah. Had to get a wire transfer so I could get, the radiator fixed, all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And, finally a week later made it
to New York.
With the cat. With Shayna.
With Shayna.
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart. I don't know where she is. And I crashed on my friend's couch on 44th and 2nd for 8 months.
All right.
While I got, 3 jobs, grinded it out, and just saved money so that I could move what ended up being into a roommate situation in Williamsburg.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But it was like literally $500 in my pocket. Getting to New York, the whole story.
The whole New York story.
And just making it work. Thank God I had a friend who had a couch.
Right. So how long you been doing real estate now?
So now about 14, going on 15 years.
Okay. And what firm did you start out?
I started at City Habitats, which is a really good rental firm, a great firm for people starting out. I happened to bartend at a great spot across the street, Voyage.
Yes, which was a
legendary
spot. Legendary spot.
I have a good story about that too.
Yeah.
Well,
tell the people about that story.
So, Voyage was a great spot. It was owned by the same people that owned Deo.
Right.
Back in the day.
And that was definitely one of the meeting spots when you came to the village.
Yeah. Deo was one of the spots, Jamaican, Caribbean.
Right.
They wanted to do something a little more upscale. So I helped them open up the place. I was the bar manager / manager, whatever. As one of those places where it was a neighborhood can come, but also like everybody of different sexuality, races, everybody could come and have a nice glass of wine and some nice, oxtail croquettes, things like that. Well, the most amazing moment possibly in the top 10 of my life happened at Voyage. We would get random celebrities here and there.
Right.
We would have in the beginning, we used to have Monica Lewinsky come in, who lived up the street, and then next thing I know, Chelsea Clinton's coming in at different times, and I'm like, well, is this going to actually happen?
Right.
It never happened.
I love it.
And Chelsea Clinton never came back after the time the chef came over and dropped an appetizer on her boyfriend's lap. Things like that happen.
Right.
But the best time was, there was a brunch, which I never worked, but I was bartending and hosting. And there was maybe a table of 12 people, black, white, gay, straight, probably in their 20s and 30s having a birthday brunch.
Okay.
The only other table in the restaurant was Nick Ashford, Valerie Simpson, and Maya Angelou.
Wow.
Okay, so that doesn't happen.
Right.
Okay? I mean, they used to come in from time to time, but, is what it is. So they're having a good old time. Maya drinks Johnny Walker Black and Rocks,
Right.
They were having champagne. And then the, birthday cake came out for the guys, sing happy birthday. really nice, and Nick and Valerie and Maya are clapping, and then they get up from their table, walk over to the table, and start singing a cappella "Happy Birthday" to
get
them.
out, get out.
And this was before everybody, before iPhones, before
right. You couldn't film it and put it on the gram and all that good stuff.
Couldn't do that.
Right.
So I'm like watching this moment, like you realize what's like, this is unbelievable.
Right.
Like you can't pay tickets for this. Like this is remarkable.
Okay.
And it was just one of those things that sort of solidified I'm in New York.
Right.
Like this doesn't happen anywhere else.
Right.
So it was just beautiful. And then, a couple of years later, the restaurant closed. I had been transitioning to real estate ever since because I was able to work at the bar and get clients and be able to work both jobs.
Right.
I was able to invest in my real estate career because I had a second job and transition fully to real estate. And that's when my career really took off.
And then why did you think do you only specialize in the Village?
No, I do wherever my clients go because not everybody can live and stay in the Village. So they end up going all over. So a lot of what they call brownstone Brooklyn. So everywhere from, Williamsburg to Dumbo to Park Slope, Prospect Heights to, uptown. I sold something earlier this year, right around the corner in Harlem.
Okay.
So wherever people go, but the bulk of my business is Greenwich Village, West Village, Chelsea.
Okay, so let's speak on the West Village right now. What's happening in the West Village right now? When you look at it from a rental perspective, just let people out there know what's the average rents, what's the average sales. Everybody wanted to be Sex in the City, Miranda and Carrie.
That's right.
So it became the rave, and all of a sudden, the Upper East Side is not the hot spot anymore. It's all about downtown.
Right.
So you're in the right neighborhood. So what's happening in that neighborhood for everybody that's out there in the room?
So West Village in particular is very expensive. In terms of co-ops, the average price for an apartment last year was about 1.2, 1.3. Okay. And so obviously the next question is, what do you get for 1.2, 1.3? You get about a 750 square foot one bedroom.
Right.
Maybe it's a walk up. If you have laundry in the building, it's a miracle.
Right.
Okay. That's reality. If you're doing condos, new construction, you're talking about 3,000 a square foot for some of these. Most of the condos exist on the perimeter,
right?
Because it's landmarked in the West Village, so they can't really build a lot of new buildings.
Right.
So that's pretty much what we get for one bedroom rental. You're probably, for a bare bones bohemian, rental, you're probably paying about 3,000 for one bed. But at the same time, the range is, unlike a lot of neighborhoods. I was able to rent something last year that was a townhouse that was $28,000 a month. It doesn't make sense, but at the same time it does, because if you make that kind of money, the percentage of your income is the same as if somebody's making, $100,000 renting a $2,500 place.
Right.
So it's all relative.
Right. And who do you see coming into the West Village? Who's buying? Who's selling? Who's renting? Who are those? What fields or backgrounds are they?
There are a lot of people in a lot of, I think, more women. You have a lot of people in sort of like the marketing or maybe arts or something like that where they can afford to live there. You do have a lot of roommate situations, of course, but you also have a lot of young professionals. We've been losing a lot of people because Brooklyn has been so hot for the last 8 years or so.
Right.
That Brooklyn is now an alternative for anywhere in Manhattan because it has its own nightlife, it has its own restaurants.
Yep.
But there is something about the West Village which makes it really special. A lot of it has to do, if you look at a map of New York City, Greenwich Village, West Village is literally in the middle of everything. So, we have a lot of friends who live uptown. We have a lot of friends who live out in Brooklyn. The central spot
is the Village.
Greenwich Village.
Right.
Hanging out in Washington Square Park is like such a taste of New York. Like it's beautiful. Walking around the streets of the West Village where they can't build high, where you have low rises, townhouses. You're also on the water, so the Christopher Street Pier, Hudson River Park. You have such great light and air and trees.
Right.
Right.
You got some real living.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's amazing. Not to mention like such an amazing amount of great restaurants.
Yeah.
Jazz clubs.
Right. Do you see a lot of celebrities in moving to the West Village?
Yeah, they do, but they're low key. I mean, where the celebrities really go to be super low key is Tribeca.
Yeah.
They can have their doorman loft building, discreet entrances that nobody else knows about.
Right.
Drive underground parking and then come up.
Come up.
This is what they do. But yeah, you have celebrities that have townhouses in the West Village. You have celebrities that live in fancier condos.
Right.
And also you see them walking around like regular neighbors.
Okay.
And some of them are incredibly charitable as well, giving back to the park associations in the neighborhood, the block associations. Okay. So it's really good. People who tend to live in the West Village tend to want to be a part of the community. Right. Help plant. Right. Give back. And so,
what are some of the current hotspots in the West Village right now?
So what's
some of your favorite hideouts?
So I go low and high.
Okay. Let's go low. I like being low first. Let's go low.
So, there's an old spot called that's been around for 40 years called Elephant and Castle, and that's on Greenwich Avenue near 11th Street. It's one of those places where if you don't want to be part of any scene or and don't want loud music and loud talking, people go there. They play classical music, and I love any place where I can bring down the median age by about 20.
Right.
So I go in there, I feel like, okay, like
I'm good.
Same is true with Gene's Restaurant on 11th Street and 6th Avenue. That's been around for like 70 or 80 years.
Okay.
There's nowhere else in the city that I know of where you sit at the bar, and instead of you getting peanuts and pretzels or tortilla chips and salsa, they give you a bowl of ice water filled with carrots, celery, and radishes.
Okay.
Old school.
Yeah.
Old school. And listening to the conversations is great. Like I said, I'm kind of voyeur. I like hearing what people are doing. A lot of these people go to the neighborhood places. They've been there for 40, 50 years. Some of them, grandparents owned a townhouse. Right. And that's why they're able to live there because, townhouses are averaging about $12 million per townhouse in the West Village, and you have ones that sell for $25 million.
Right. No, it's true. Stay tuned. We'll be back with part 2 with Scott Elyanow.